Hello friends, my name's TheRealEmile and you join me in unfamiliar surroundings. Today we're on The Crew, which is an open worldy style racing game set in America. And, well, they have done 4 DLC packs, and one of my favourite cars in the world, the McLaren F1, has come to this game. So I figured I'd give it a little bit of a drive, and for those of you who don't know The Crew, maybe show it off a bit to you. But first we're going to go look at the customization options, which I doubt there'll be many for this car. This is part of the Raid DLC pack, and they've sort of seemed to have just thrown this one in. So what we're going to do is we're going to customize it, and then we're going to take a road trip up to Las Vegas, and possibly take a look at some of the Raid cars. Okay. I came to the wrong place. Well done me. Yeah, that's your sort of hideout. It's a bit useless. You go there early on in the game to keep track of stuff, but once you've sort of completed it, there's not really much reason for you to go there. Which actually does lead me to a good point. Story. This game is a racing game with a story. Basically, you play as... I can't actually remember his name. Anyway, I think he's called Alex or something. Anyway, you're basically an up-and-coming guy in this car racing gang. Again, I can't remember what they're called. 510s, that's the one. And you are the brother of the leader, and basically he goes, oh, well, you can't be a 510, this, that, and the other, and then he gets you to take him to a dark, mysterious alleyway to go meet some V4 who ends up capping his ass, and then basically stuff goes to hell. He throws a gun out his car, and then you get framed for his murder, and then 5 years later you get let out by some hot FBI agent who basically tells you to go and track him down and stuff. And it's basically just goes from there. The story's okay. I mean, it's nothing really ripping and awesome. After a while the story missions do feel like a bit of a chore, but it does get you through the game and it gets you all leveled up and stuff, which is good, because of course it's got an interesting upgrade system, which I'll show you in a minute actually. Yeah, we'll skip that. Basically it's just a stylized entrance to a garage. Right. There we go, fantastic. Okay, so I'll show you the thing in a minute. This is sort of how the car collection works. You collect sort of cars from everywhere. I mean, there's the McLaren, and there's some more cars from the Raid pack. You basically have to go through the game. The objective is to eventually just buy all of these and amass your collection. Now, one thing I do actually really like about this game over, say, Forza 4 is there are 5 different disciplines of cars. As you can see: street, dirt, performance, raid, and circuit. Street cars are your street racing cars, dirt cars are made for dirt racing, performance cars are made for slightly faster street racing, raid cars are made for extreme off-roading, for which there is none near here, and then circuit cars are made for your circuits. And one nice thing is, once you buy the car, all these kits just sort of interchange, and you can change through them on the road. As I won't be showing you that with the McLaren, obviously, but you know, I'll show you with some other cars. Right. So this is also a cool thing. Basically, you buy the kit for your car. So this McLaren can only be a performance car, so we need to buy a performance kit for it. We'll buy that with the crew credits. There's sort of tokens of Forza, which does bring me onto a big complaint about this game. There's a huge amount of customization, which is really good. The bad thing is it's a bit of a pay to have fun game almost. The game doesn't really give you much in the way of money unless you do faction missions, which take forever. What colour do we want this? I kind of want it yellow. I want to see if I can do the... I don't know if you've ever seen it. There's a real life F1 that's yellow with green sort of stripes on it. Of course, this game doesn't have green stripes, does it? There's that, but I mean, I don't really... I mean, that kind of fits the bill. That's not terrible. I'll have that, I guess. Why not? As you can see, the stickers are a ridiculous amount of money. Right, let's see what front bumpers we got. Now, this is something I really do like. you can sort of, there's just tons and tons of bumpers, and they're all so specific. Like, I don't know, that one has that sort of lights, but those ones have that light, if you know what I mean. It's really cool, the way they've sort of structured it. I do quite like it. What does that actually look like on the car? What we actually got? Carbon fibre, carbon fibre. That's got a big splitter on it. I think, I don't know, I'm quite partial to gills on a car, I guess. That doesn't look terrible, I guess. Kind of preferred the one we was looking at before, though. You know, you can just spend hours customising the cars on this game. We'll have that. Get out of there. Right, rear bumper. What we got? That's an insane splitter. I think we might have that. What's the difference? Oh yeah, right, that's black. Yeah, let's have that. It looks suitably mental. You can't customise any of the fenders. As much as it says, oh yeah, customise the fenders, you can't. We'll go with that. There's also a large selection of rims. There's nothing... I don't think any of these are like actual real life tuner rims, or at least not to my knowledge, and they were a really bad choice. They don't look particularly good, but whatever. What rear wings we got? Yeah, we'll have the coloured one. One thing I will say I don't like about this is when you first put the car into, say, performance spec, it puts a certain amounts of visual upgrades on it already. You can't go back to them visual upgrades, unfortunately, which is a bit stupid. I also don't like how they don't have the stock bonnet in. It's just not carbon fibre. But, oh well, I mean, I guess that's the... What the hell's going on with the wing mirrors? Were they like that originally? I don't think so, I don't know. Anyway, that's the car, tuned and pimped, and you've sort of seen that. So I'll actually show you how this discipline section works. Okay, let me just set a waypoint to Vegas. As you can see, I'm in Miami at the moment. Sebring's over there as well. Where do we want to go? All the way over there. That's going to be a long-ass road trip. Might get split into multiple videos. We'll have to see on this one. Yeah, that's an awful long way. Load in. There we go. Okay, 66 miles. Jeez. Okay. Anyway. So the way this works is quite simple. As you can see, here's all the full stock cars. Here's all the... Basically, here's the cars as you buy them. And then you have all your street cars, like my Mini and my Abarth and my Skyline and all that. Then you have the dirt cars, which... Although, I'll try and find a good example. Where's the... where's that gone? As you can see, Focus RS 2020 here. That's the same car, just in dirt spec, and I believe I've even got a performance spec one. Yep, there's the performance spec one. There's the raid one. Do I have a circuit one? Not yet. Yeah. So each sort of class has their advantage and disadvantage. As I said, street cars are for your street racing, really. If you're going to go on a road trip where you don't quite know what sort of terrain you're going to encounter or anything, the street cars are pretty good to go with. The performance cars like this one are just slightly better street cars, to be honest with you. But comes with that is a bit of a cost that you can't traverse dirt so well in these cars, which is a bit of a faff. And in circuit cars, they really don't like dirt. As in, the circuit cars really don't like dirt. Which is fun. I'll try and show you some of the changing cars things. One cool thing you can do is actually, I'll show you this here, is if I'm just driving along and I decide, oh no, I need, I don't know, dirt quickly, I can simply just pick this up and swap straight away to my Raptor, and then we could go traverse the dirt. You know, if I decide, hey, this is a really long stretch of road, let's get something ridiculously fast out. Provided you wait for the loading time, which is a bit insane, you can get your extremely fast circuit car out to go and do this in. This car's ridiculously quick. 0 to 60 on this is like 2 seconds, I swear to God. It's pretty rapid. Where's the... Oh God, don't crash into the back of that. Where's the McLaren gone? Yeah, it's my lowest leveled car at the moment. Now, that's where another good thing comes in about this game. Basically, you have levels on this. Level 10... Ooh, God. Level 0 to level 10, you basically just get pretty crappy parts, to be honest with you. They add like 3 performance score to your thing. It's kind of like Forza with its PI system. Think of it that way. So all cars, performance cars anyway, I believe all start off 490. And basically, I'll try and find some on the way here. In fact, there's one over there. I'm not going to do it. You find sort of challenges down the road. And you complete the challenge, and once you complete it, you get a shiny part, depending on how you've done. You get bronze, silver, or gold, and they all have their own sort of performance advantages. The bronze being the worst and the gold being the best. Once you've got to level 50, you can start putting platinum parts on your cars, and that's when you can get some ridiculously high car levels. As in, you can get like, I believe the highest car levels 1300, and the best you could get with gold parts is not even close to that. And each part has a sort of level associated with it. Again, if any challenges would show up, it would be quite useful. Or should I just show you on the map? Here we go, actually I'll show you on the map. Right, there you go. Slalom skill, if you complete that, you get a level 30 ECU, which impacts the car by 10. However, if I got a platinum part, that would basically cruise smoke X420. Yeah. Welcome to Xbox Live. Anyway, that's kind of the way it works, which, I mean, it's a pretty good system. I don't mind it. It does make multiplayer levels a bit imbalanced, because sort of everyone's got to the point where they've sort of figured out what they need to do. So everyone basically brings their 1300 level cars into the game, and I haven't really got the patience to grind out, because when you get a platinum part, it's between level 40 and level 50. Now, to get to the full 1299 PI, you need to get the level 50 parts. The problem is it's completely random, and usually to me it dicks me and gives me 50, or sorry, 40, which is the lowest. So I haven't really got the patience to just keep going through and constantly redoing that, so I don't usually bother really. But it's an interesting way of doing it. It's got a cockpit mode. You can actually customize the cockpit a little bit. Maybe I should have done that with the McLaren. I'm driving terribly, which can bring us on to another point in it. Cockpit mode isn't great. It feels natural almost, but I don't know. It doesn't feel right. Which does bring us on to our next point. There is a bit of an issue in this game. Yes, you can traverse the group America. Yes, you can do it with a bunch of friends actually, which is really cool. The problem you've got is the handling model isn't exactly all there. Right, there we go, here's one of the challenges. These are pretty fun ones. You've got to basically just escape the radius, which isn't that hard to do, provided you can dodge the traffic, and so on. And just keep using nitrous. There we go, beat someone's best score. There's a cop car, but he doesn't really seem to care, to be perfectly honest with you. There we go. Ooh, that's a tight corner. There we go, we got a platinum medal there, so of course now we're going to get a differential. Okay. Level 49, that's not a bad part actually. It comes with a brake bonus as well. As you can see, that like jumps the PI up excessively. The good news is there's no PI limits to anything on this game, so you don't have to like purposely hinder your vehicle to say go ahead and do a certain event. Although they do start having, you know, recommended PIs, so they'll say, oh, well, you need a vehicle level over 770. I'm sorry if I keep calling it PIs, by the way, it's just what I'm used to doing. And, yeah, so basically if you don't have a 770 PI level, you sort of get a bit, SOL'd, shall we say. Which does bring us up to a next point, as I will finish describing handling soon as well. The AI rubber band on this game quite badly, which is a big no-no for me. I do not like rubber banding AI. I don't know why developers do it, to be perfectly honest, but they do. The AI in this game overall is a bit thick as well. I've seen times where they basically just drive into every wall in front of them, and for no reason why. So that's always fun when that happens. Yeah, so the handling system isn't great. It's more arcadey, I will say. Horizon 2 definitely has the better handling system. Now, of course, the crew makes up for that because it's got a huge map. I believe this thing is like 10,000 miles squared or kilometers squared or something like that. It's absolutely ridiculous, the size of this map. Unfortunately, most of that is sort of this style of stuff. It's mostly just padded out. This is probably going to go off-road, which isn't going to, like, yeah, we're not going to do that. Luckily, we can just simply abort the challenge if we don't want to do it, which is something you'll get used to doing. The McLaren is not looking healthy. Yeah, the handling system isn't great. The cars don't feel like you'd expect them to. They almost feel random. I've actually had to keep the assists on this game, just because if you don't have them, the cars sort of just fling themselves about strangely. You know, through this corner, say, in any other car, I'd be completely fine and flat out and all is good. And then for the next corner, I'd have colossal understeer, and then for the next, I'll have ridiculous oversteer, and that's just how it is from car to car. If you try and drive the raid vehicles without assists, good luck. They bounce about ridiculously because of the stupidly soft suspension. It's almost weird. The handling system just doesn't feel crisp. It's not Test Drive Unlimited too bad, but it's fairly close. It's not the greatest in the world, I've got to be honest. But again, small niggles for the size of the map. Which does me bring it on to one of the most fun aspects of this game. It's just road tripping, really. Exploring all the sites and seeing what is to be seen. They've added sort of a landmark style thing, where basically if you find something interesting, you can sort of look at it a bit. It gives you 2,000 credits, that's why it's interesting. And you can go to some fairly interesting places on here. There's actually a few real life racetracks as well. As you saw, there's a... I'm gonna just turn some way to do it. Just put it to faction missions. Yeah, so there's Sebring, which you can go to. There's also Laguna Seca somewhere up here. There it is. And there's a few others as well, which I haven't really heard of before. Now, something, I'm not sure if this is actually like a real thing here in America or whether this is using wrong thing. New York looks pretty big, as you kind of imagine it, and Washington looks really small in comparison. I don't know if that's like true. It seems the game's major cities, like Chicago and Detroit here, seem a lot bigger than, say, I don't know, where's Dallas. Dallas looks extremely tiny. I don't think that's really what happens, to be honest with you. I don't think that's quite an accurate representation. But it is nice you can go to all these places. If you're an American, I guess you can pretty much go to where you live, essentially. I mean, if you live in, say, LA, then that's fine. Oh, there's another... I don't quite know how small San Francisco is compared to LA, but... yeah. It definitely seems to have the hub cities are a lot more detailed than, say, these mini cities, which you can't really blame them for, but at the same time, it's sort of... maybe you should have paid more attention to that aspect as well. So that's fun. The map design's fairly decent. I quite like it. I do wish they'd actually have one of these games in Europe. Yes, I know we've got Euro Truck Simulator technically, and I really love Euro Truck Simulator. That's a fantastic game. But I kind of wish we could play that, but with cars, and I'm sure there's a mod for it. But I want the crew set there with like Forza handling. Please make that happen. Yeah. So it's not a bad game actually. The crew. It's relatively cheap nowadays actually as well. It wasn't the most well received game. There's a lot of criticism leveled at this game for being a bit boring. And you know what? I can kind of see the people who say that. I'm almost inclined to agree with them a little bit. When you're sort of driving through the outback like here, it can get a bit boring. During the story mode, I will admit, halfway through it, you just go, oh, sod the exploration, I just want to fast travel from here to here. and it won't let you, and then you get angry. But I don't know, it's definitely got a charm to it. I quite like it. I like the idea you can explore. You know, this is the sort of game I remember me and a friend went on a road trip where I had a MP4 12C and he had a 4GT, I think. We basically just lost ourselves for 4 hours. We drove from LA all the way up to Dallas, I think. You know, we had a fairly sizable road trip, ran into some cool things along the way. And that's kind of what this game is at its best, when you can get a few buddies together and just go driving, you know, which is good. My biggest issue with this game by far, however, is the economy. The economy in this game is not good. Basically, the game is a weird one. It's got so much customization, but the problem is this customization is ridiculously expensive. You saw, you know, there's like paint jobs for this paint job on this McLaren cost 9,000 credits. And that's sort of what you get for a good old 10-minute race, really. Okay, we're doing this again. No, we're not. And it's almost like it's got Ubisoft greediness put into it. It's just, it's technically, yes, you can play multiplayer, and some people probably will do. Me personally, I don't particularly like multiplayer racing games. They're a bit random, shall we say? Yeah, let's go with random. And they're just not as fun for me as single player racing. I just prefer it. And the thing with this sort of game in single player is what you really need to do is just give people a ridiculous amount of money. Just let them go wild with it. You know, the most money you technically get is like the first half of the game, where basically we go to New York and she says, "Oh, here's 100,000 crew credits," and that's kind of sort of your main monetary way of buying cars, essentially, for the rest of the game, unless you buy more crew credits. Now, the crew credits aren't too ridiculous. I do have to admit, I actually I ended up playing this game the other day and I ended up buying some just because I wanted to play around with the cars, but I shouldn't have to do that. You know, I should find the game fun enough to go and often do my own thing. And that's the problem. If this game had a fantastic handling system, I'd probably play it more. You know, I'd probably put the time in and get the money and all that, but there just isn't any real reason to put in that much time to get that much money, because the cars handle a bit half-heartedly, and honestly the racing's a little bit boring. You know, so it's a weird one. I love and hate the crew at the same time. There's some bits about it I like, there's some bits about it I don't like. I like the customization, I don't like some of the tedious other corporate bollocks that happen to be hidden within this game. It's, I don't know. If you can find it cheap, as in like pretty cheap, then definitely. Oh god, I cocked up that jump skill, didn't I? Yeah, if you can find this for say £20, worth it. Definitely worth it. I'd say the crew's worth picking up. Not if you're on 360. The 360 version really does look terrible. I don't. To be honest with you, this I'm going to hit this jump eventually. A game with this sort of scale needs what's the word I'm looking for? The game needs to be on this sort of console. This is the sort of console that can deal with it. Yes, the graphics aren't pretty. Me personally, I'm not a huge. I don't get hugely. Oh, we got a level 50 part. Get in. I'm gonna film more of this game because it seems to like me when I film stuff. And yeah, max level. You kind of get to max level by pretty much the end of the game and sort of stay there. It's, yeah. The graphics aren't absolutely beautiful, but the map size sort of makes up for it. Me personally, I don't particularly care about the graphics. I think they're definitely passable. Some of the NPC cars do look a bit shoddy. Horizon 1 probably looks slightly better than this game, maybe, but Horizon 1 had, I don't know, like what? A 12-mile map. This has a 10,000-mile map, you know. I almost feel a bit sorry for the crew. The crew had so much riding on it. It just sort of couldn't really be pulled off. People wanted this huge next gen graphical jump, and people wanted, you know, huge exploration and big this and big that, and simply put, the game just this early in the console's life cycle, it's a bit hard to do this sort of stuff. Maybe, I don't know, 5 years from now we'll be looking at Crew remastered, where they sort the economy out and upgrade the graphics and various other bits, and maybe let us go to Canada, which would be quite nice. It's quite funny, if you go to the Canadian border, there's basically the FBI woman just says, "You can't go that way, Alex. Oh no, is the whole of America not big enough for you?" And, well, no, I kind of occasionally want to go to see some snow. You can go to see some snow, but the cars just drive like complete arse. There's actually a single player mission where you go around and just, it's on ice and it's terrible. It truly is absolutely atrocious. Yeah, the single player can get a bit frustrating sometimes. There's the levels are fairly simple, and then there'll be that one level that just kicks you in the teeth. Mostly with the raid cars, because they don't handle particularly well. Anyway, friends, we're about 36 miles into our road trip. I'm kind of curious as to how long we've been recording for. I presume it's been a long ass time, actually. Let's find out. It does look a bit dark on the capture, but I presume that'll just sort of fade itself away. 26 minutes. Well, that seems about accurate to me. So, I want to thank you all very much for watching. Part 2 of our little road trip will be up shortly. This was sort of me giving my impressions of the Crew. What do I think of it? It's a good game. Give it a try. Anyway, friends, my name's been TheRealEmile. Until next time, farewell.